is Hendrix ASMR, and today I'm just gonna read this Spider-Man comic book, and then afterwards I'm gonna show off my Spider-Man Funko Pop figure. I'm gonna go to the comic book and probably ramble about just what I like and maybe other Spider-Man comic books. But I was gonna do two of these, but it might take a little bit too much time. So I just opted for this one because it's my favorite, so here you go. One thing that I noticed right off bat in this comic book is that right when you open it, there's a got milk, like, ad that has SpongeBob and Patrick in it, and for a second I thought it was probably like an old episode when I got a glance, but I just thought that was funny because, it shows how long this comic has been around. I'm trying to be super delicate with the table and this comic so it doesn't make any like weird or abrupt sounds. It's giving me a rough time. But Ox, you know what I like to do? What? I like to knock over that burger joint. Which one? This one is New York City. There's a million of them. This one it's over there on 58th and 10th. Why? You mean there's McDonald's? Yeah. Why? Just don't like the place. What's not to like? They got a new 99-cent meal. I'm just like glancing at the art, and it just looks pretty nice and polished. I'm not gonna read every single slide, but I'll just read a few and show off the interesting ones. Right here, it's a picture of the Spidey getting right into the action. He says, "Hi, I'm here." To sign up for the white t-shirt contest. If you know anything about Spider-Man comics, there's a quirkiness about the lines. It's just like a 50-year-old man who's a coder. It's Peter, but right here on the second page, it looks like there's an ad for Lego Island 2, The Brickster's Revenge. I have never heard of this game before, so it must be old because I've been a gamer for a long time, so. Wow, it says on PC-ROM, so I think I may have underestimated just how old this one is. I'm just making this a quick flip through, because, excuse me. Just because it's not particularly long or anything, and the first time I went through it, unless you already know what's going on, it just doesn't really make a lot of sense, but at the same time, I'm glad I have this, because it might be worth something someday, so, who knows. The guy right here on this panel reminds me of the guy from A Beautiful Mind, if you've ever seen that movie. That movie is about this crazy, super smart guy that just, he's charming at first, and so it's like, wow. You wonder what it's like to be, like him for a second, but then it shows like the reality of being so gifted and smart that it just drives you crazy. And a guy that looked like this was one of his hallucinations after he went crazy. And it was telling him to meet him at this like abandoned house, and he was dropping off like codes for the government and stuff like that. And he was convinced for a long time that he was helping and he was actually doing something good. But when it came to grip with reality, there was never no guy, there was never no secret location, there was never... He was just making everything up in his head. And it kind of shows you that along the movie, but especially it wraps it around the end. And you kind of almost start to like this guy, even though he kind of gives you the vibe that he's not really like a super good guy or anything, but just as soon as you find out that he's not even real, it's just like his character doesn't even matter anymore. You're just kind of like, what? I think that's a really good movie. You should check out if you've never seen it before. Again, it's called A Beautiful Mind. It looks like there's some Trolley Ollie octopus gummies. Like the ad. It looks like Spider-Man squaring up with someone on this page. Oh wow, I really like this newspaper like headline, this slide right here on the top. If I have time, I might show the other one, but I'll see. I don't know. This comic is really cool. I don't know if you guys have ever seen any of the Spider-Man movies, but the best Spider-Man award will always go to Tobey Maguire. I respect Tom Holland. I respect Andrew Garfield, but man, Tobey just doesn't play, or excuse me, nobody plays the role like Tobey does, ever. Like in the whole revamp of the Spider-Man series, I don't think nobody captures like the essential nerdiness that needs to be like Spider-Man. Like Tom and Andrew are almost too good looking for the Spider-Man role. It's just like, it's kind of distracting at a point, but for Tobey, I don't know, it was that perfect mix of like brains and bronze, but now it's just like looks. It's not really about neither of those. But I don't know. At the same time, though, I really like the digital effects and stuff that they've done for the newer movies. Because I was, kind of used to the practical effects in the first Spider-Man movie because it's just so old, but it also made them kind of try to explore Spider-Man without exploiting his powers just for the sake of the movie, if that makes sense. But it looks like there's an ad for Mario Party 3 on the bottom of the page. Wow, and look at this, the Power Rangers Tank Force. I didn't know I'd be more interested in the ads that were inside of this thing than the actual comic book, because I remember this thing being pretty cool. But for this specific issue of Spider-Man, it probably has like one of my favorite art covers for a Spider-Man issue, just because of the art style. It kind of reminds me of the Ultimate Spider-Man game, which is probably what this is based off of. Actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, he looks like the guy looks like the version of Peter from the game, so pretty sure it's based off this. But if you've ever played Ultimate Spider-Man on the PS2 or the original Xbox, probably, or the GameCube. It's probably like one of the best Spider-Man games. I don't know, just because of the vibe and the comic art style. They try to bring that back in the newer Spider-Man games if you've played those, but they bring back like a comic book version of Spider-Man that you can play as and just free roaming around. And I thought that was pretty awesome. Spider-Man Web of Shadows is probably up there too with one of the best Spider-Man games, but yeah, and then I would say the PS4 versions come after that. Just, the older stuff hits better, but I believe I'm almost done with this. Just flipping through this. And then it looks like from the last panel, I think it's actually, what's his name? I can't remember. It's actually Kingpin's hands around Spidey that it's hinting towards. So that's. I feel like I should have figured that out, but whoa. Can you see this crazy looking thing for Juicy Fruit? Like, what the fuck? Excuse my language. Sorry if you could hear my table right there. My bad. Here's my little Spider-Man Pop Funko figure. It's based off of Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man, but also at the same time I think Tom does, do a good job. It's just nobody's gonna do it like Tobey, That was like the golden era of Spider-Man movies. But anyway, thank you for stopping by. If you like the video, please drop a like. If you want to stick around, subscribe, please like and comment to help the algorithm boost my channel. I hope you enjoyed. Have a good night. Look forward to another